guys, welcome back to Once Upon a Van Life. We got Josh, Sam, and Hendrix, who's sleeping.
As usual.
We're here this time to tell you all about our month that we spent in Nova Scotia. Man, what a place. So much to see. So one of the first really cool things that we did after visiting some friends in the Annapolis Valley was we went to Bloomington Provincial Park, and it's right on the Bay of Fundy. The drive into the park is spectacular enough on its own. When we came in, the tide was quite far out, and all you could see was just these giant rocks protruding and these big clay walls, and then rock and beach for as long as you could see, eh, babe?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really know how much beach there was until like 3 days after. We went there for 3 days. You kind of, to get to the campground, you have to like drive up this big cliff, which was super cool. Once again, the views were awesome. Get there, and yeah, the view you could see, I think it was like the other side of like part of the Nova Scotia side of the Bay of Fundy, which is like huge, but it's kind of the tip of it on the inside, I guess you would say. But amazing, yeah, classic. The tide goes in and the waters are all the way up, and there's no beach, and then the tide goes out and you can walk out pretty far. But
which
amazing,
is really neat to do, like walking on what feels like the ocean floor.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, really spectacular. And funny enough, we got there first time it's ever happened. Someone was on the campsite that we booked and they weren't there. Their camper was there. So we had to get a different campsite after tracking down staff in the off season. But hey, those are just the adventures, right?
Yeah, it wasn't really that big of a deal. It was more so we wanted to get camping.
Yeah.
And they said, like, when Sam booked it, it said like ocean view, and like when I went and looked, there's like so much trees and a fence there. I was like, yeah, honestly, it wasn't that much of a deal, like once we saw after, I guess. But yeah, like I said, the third day, we woke up and it was so foggy, like you couldn't see anything.
No.
And then luckily the fog cleared up, because when we did go to leave, we went down and we found the beach with the clay and the rocks, and so beautiful. Yeah, once again, Hendrix loved it. There's some like streams going, from like little banks from rivers, like where it dropped off, and like coming through the cracks of the rock face and everything. It was pretty awesome. So
yeah, highly recommend it.
Yeah, so definitely go to, was it Bloomington? Bloomington Park.
Yeah,
so
Bloomington
here's some videos and some pictures from there. Hey everybody, we're at Bloomington Provincial Park in Nova Scotia, and we found this ridiculous view. Like, look at all the cliffs. It's crazy because the tide's out, you can see, but the water will basically be back up to basically where we are, like in a couple hours. So pretty wild. Waterfalls, giant rocky beach, like pretty insanity. This is basically like the other side of the Bay of Fundy in Nova Scotia, a little peninsula. All right, so when we were in Nova Scotia, we spent a lot of time. We have some friends and family out there, so we were kind of zipping all over the place.
Back and forth.
Yeah, going from one side to the other. But we ended up going to Sydney, which is super nice, like almost pretty much as east of Nova Scotia you can go. We spent a day there just visiting Sam's parents, who were visiting us. And we were just right on the harbor, and super nice little town. Mostly just the harbor there, the boats. We found a little park and a little pub that we had some beers and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
it was the beer garden right on the
yeah.
lake, which was
Yeah,
so cool.
we probably went to that park like 3 or 4 times just because it was like the nicest park they had. There's another one that was under construction, but
yeah,
so that was super cool.
There's a giant fiddle down by the harbor. It's got to be like 50 feet tall. Just this giant fiddle. It's a really nice harbor front. It's a really nice
small
harbor front.
but a little quaint, but like kind of one of the bigger cities in Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So then after that, we zipped all the way back
up
across Nova Scotia to visit with some friends. And we ended up going to this really cool thing called the Balancing Rock.
Yeah, it was up like the Digby Neck. So just above Digby, Nova Scotia, there's like a little peninsula and then a couple of little islands. So we actually had to take the ferry. We didn't take our car at the time. We were with our friends and all of their kids. So we had gotten their vehicle because it held both dogs, all the kids, and all 4 of us. And on we got onto this little ferry. And like, you don't register anything. You just drive on, and the ferry takes you across in like about 4 minutes, and you just drive off again. And it took us to this little island where we went and hiked to the Balancing Rock. And man, that is really cool too. It kind of like defies gravity. You don't even understand how it's standing up on like this one rock, standing on all these other rocks. Right?
Yeah, it's still like, kept thinking about it after. I was like, how that even happened. Like basically the decay of, the
hundreds
water.
and hundreds and hundreds of years, right?
You go see it. It's, I kept joking with everyone. I was like, wouldn't it be hilarious if we went there and then like somebody sneezed and the rock,
fell over?
That'd be hilarious, right? But it's cool because you have to take, it's probably like, I don't know, I guess it felt like half an hour because we had like 12 people with us, but we had 2 dogs, like 4 kids, 5 kids, 4 adults, and
a teenager.
And yeah, it's super cool. Like you go, like all of a sudden you're on a boardwalk, and then you're on like mud,
a trail,
and then you're on kind of
stairs, and
you go down, and both the dogs crushed it too, which was awesome.
Yeah, they were definitely tired afterwards.
Yeah, you get all the way down there, and then you're on these kind of like wooden kind of
lookouts. They're like lookouts,
and yeah, you can kind of see it there, and we'll have some pictures, but we did get a video of that too. So
yeah, very cool.
Yeah, here's some a little bit of footage from Sydney and Balancing Rock. What's up, everybody? We're in downtown Sydney in the harbor here. Super nice. A little gray out today, but still very beautiful. There's the downtown. It's pretty cool. One side of the river is downtown, and then you just look the other side. It's looks like countryside over there. So yeah, very nice.
Here's another story from the road. We were at Petersfield Provincial Park, which is right across the bay from Sydney, where we have told you about. And I'm sitting there, van door open. It's a massive park with a big parking lot that must fit 500 cars. And we're in the parking lot. People everywhere. There's cars parked over here. A guy had just come in on his motorcycle to a bench on the far side. The dog's outside the door on his bed.
I was in the front actually making the last Once Upon a Vanlife.
Yeah, he's editing in the front seat, and the door's open, and all of a sudden I'm like, Josh, and he turns around and looks at me, and I'm like, deer, and there's 2 full-grown deer just trotting across the parking lot, and they're coming basically like up to Hendrix. They're like 15 feet away from him. And
very close.
Hendrix jumps up to his feet, and he looks at the deer, and the deer are looking at him, and the guy on the motorcycle over here is just looking at both of them like he doesn't know what to do either. And I wasn't sure. Hendrix was tethered to the van, so I wasn't sure if he was gonna like run at them, but I was also a little worried in a weird way, like they might come running even closer to him. But they both just froze for like about 10 seconds. And then all of a sudden, they just went running across the rest of the way of the parking lot, and on they went. And like, we have deer in Ontario, but they don't just run up into the middle of a parking lot where there's got to be 20 people and vehicles around.
Like, luckily there was no cars coming, because they just like ran. And then, like, yeah, Sam's like, I look
couldn't
over.
even get it out of my mouth. I'm like, Josh, deer.
I looked up, and like Hendrix was already looking at them, and they were like it was like that Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other, because they're probably like looking at him like,
what are you?
Are you a deer? Because he is the same like color, right? And
they were bigger than him,
but he was probably looking at like, are you a dog? Like, because you're the same color as me. It was pretty funny. Like,
and they were so close. I wish I had I had grabbed my phone.
It happened so quick,
fast. You didn't even.
We couldn't even take a picture of it, but.
It was pretty funny, and it will definitely be a moment I will remember forever. So that's short and sweet, but that's another story from the road. Well, thanks for watching another episode of Once Upon a Van Life and our adventures in Nova Scotia. If you liked what you saw, like, subscribe, hit the little bell so you know when we put new content out. And we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot, guys.
See ya.